Welcome to today's news. From wherever you're listening from, I greet you, and please stay tuned as I read today's news. The headline says ex-military officer advised President Buhari to be supervising the troops of anti-terrorism war. Although the even Boko Haram terrorist group started wagon war. Although the evil Boko Haram terrorist group started waging war against Nigeria since 2009, when late Abubakar Shekau succeeded late Muhammadu Yusuf, it has already been orchestrating violence since the year 2002, when it has floated, and it was one of such public unrest that led to its founder's arrest and ultimately his death in 2009. Although the Boko Haram group of terrorists has always been adequately checked, even when its inhuman activities were so pronounced that some pundits had to conclude that its fighters were stronger than the Nigerian militaries. There have even always been some issues such as poor remunerations of security force, inadequate as well as substandard weapons to confront the outlaw, revolts by some military personnel against their commanders, and the accompanying punishments by courts, martial imprisonment, etc. Some forces fueling the unlawfulness by sponsoring the reigning terrorists. Porous borders were sophisticated weapons and being smuggled into the country. Some informants of the marauding criminals within the government and security force who are supposed to be waging war against them, the terrorists. However, with the improvements that the federal government FG has been putting into the anti-terrorist war, the success being recorded against the insurgents are obvious, especially with the over 20,000 of them that have arrested themselves for government amnesty. But despite these and many other achievements against the terrorists, they have not yet been totally defeated. For flushed out, and whenever the troops suffers any casualty crisis, are always quick to lash out at the FG. In the middle of this, a former military officer who was said to have fought against the insurgents has hired his own perceptions of why the anti-terrorist war has failed to come to an end. According to independent news, the ex-serviceman who preferred to be anonymous said that a major cause of the unending war is the failure of President Muhammadu Buhari to supervise the troops in the course of the war. He further said that once the president released money for the military activities, he would not bother to follow up with how the money is being spent. Buttressing on his position, he said that it was a result of President Muhammadu Buhari's lack of first-hand knowledge of what is happening at the theaters of war, that some soldiers do get punished if they complain about poor feeding, weapons, and other challenge that is confronting them in the focus of the war. However, he had undermined the fact that the president has gone well to efforts to end manic menace of terrorism and other criminal activities in the country. My dear listeners, we come to the end of today's news. Then before I go, do I read the comments again, which says ex-military officers advise President Buhari to be supervising the troops of the anti-terrorism war. For those who are not catching up, I would like to analyze this news to you guys. We are told, what's it called? You are told, you see, listen to this statement which says, although the Boko Haram group of terrorists has always been adequately checked, even when its inhuman activities were so pronounced that some pundits had to conclude that its fighters were stronger than the Nigerian military. there have always been some issues such as listen includes number one, poor remunerations of the security force, inadequate as well as substandard weapons to confront the outlaw, revolts by some military personnel against their commanders, and the accompanying punishments by court martial imprisonment, etc. Some forces foiling the unlawful by sponsoring the ranking terrorists. Porous border, where suffocated, where suffocated weapons are being smuggled into the country. Some informants of the marauding criminals within the government and security force who are suspended to be the waging war against terrorists. These are just well, in this country. I just let's not just we need is prayer. About this insecurity and stuff happening in our country. Then before I go again, I would like to let you get note of something. What these people are actually saying is that Buhari was the main cause why all these bandits and insecurity has no solution, because when sometimes he release money to the military activities, will not even bother to follow up with how the money is being spent. But reason on his position, he said that it was a result of President Buhari lacks of first-hand knowledge of what is happening at the theaters of war, that some soldiers do get punished even when they complain about the poor feeding weapons and other challenges that is confronting them in the course of the war. Imagine. Then, however, he did not undermine the fact that the president has done well to enforce to end the menace of terrorism and other criminal activities in country. Pardon. My dear listeners, we've come to the end of today's news. But before I go, I abide you and beseech you to please do drop your own opinions, react to the news. Let's see what your view is all about. And please do not forget to do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please, I beg you to please do not forget to do one of the most necessary things. So you turn on your notification alarm box so you can get notified whenever we down to the platform. Before I go, I would like to take the headlines from your time, which says ex-military officers advise President Buhari to be supervising the troops of anti-terrorist war. So now I'll be back. Enjoy.